Welcome to Till All Are Done, the show where we are roll calling one toy for every character in the Transformers universe and showcasing them. We are working through the cast of the very first cartoon season, and if you want to start from the very beginning, check out the playlist in the description or click the card in the corner. But the best way to stay tuned for new episodes is to subscribe and see which figures I'm going to showcase next. The Autobots and Decepticons are definitely soldiers when you think about it, this ongoing war that started between the two factions, but there's one Autobot that looks the part more than the rest. I mentioned in my Jazz episode that Jazz wasn't really in the Transformers media I consumed, and I think it's even worse for Hound. At least Jazz started showing up around the time that Bayverse started. After watching G1, I found that a shame because I think Hound is a really cool character that just doesn't get enough screen time. So it's good to see that he returned in the War for Cybertron Netflix trilogy and had a part to play in the story. You know what that means. He got a toy too. All roads lead back to Siege, where Hound got a Deluxe class toy that once again becomes another example of how amazing this toy line is. Those design philosophies of G1 representation, modern engineering, and aesthetic cohesiveness are all found in this toy. It even does something with the transformation I've never seen before. I won't spoil it now, but join me through this toy review, and we'll get to it certainly. Here is War for Cybertron Siege Deluxe Class Hound.
The Transformers!
We'll start off with the robot mode, and my two favorite things about the mode is the head sculpt and the paint deco choice. The head sculpt is magnificent with the piercing pearly blues and Cybertronian army helmet, plus with the big boxy front of the Jeep being the chest, he just looks like a Cybertronian soldier. The army surplus tampagraphs really do a nice job accenting the paint deco. I love the silver stars on his shoulders, and I believe this is a callback to the G1 toy version. You can tell the designers of the War for Cybertron line really love G1 and have some subtle callbacks to old toys and the show. You also have the bronze star prominently displayed, plus that nice shiny Autobot badge on the top of the Jeep hood, which looks really great. And the paint is my absolute favorite thing about the toy. This deep, rich army green looks so good on Hound. It's such a unique paint scheme in my collection, as most of the toys go for brighter shades with their colors. Even the Sunbow model Hound is a brighter green, but I genuinely think this is a nice deco choice, and they are nicely accented by all the tampography, some nice accent paint, and the battle damage paint. Wow, I can't believe I just said that. Yeah, I like the battle damage on this particular toy because it fits the army theme of the character that he's got going on. On Starscream, I absolutely hated how much battle damage he had, and in general, I want most of my figures to have none of this slathered on. But for Hound, I actually kind of love the way they painted the chins and the chest with this nice silver paint to create the battle damage. It's not splotchy like it looks on Starscream or put on places where it doesn't belong. It actually blends into the deco perfectly. Maybe the battle damage wasn't a bad idea after all. They just need to utilize it where it made sense and have a bit of restraint. Speaking of legs, the way they fold out to become the sides of the alt mode and vice versa is absolutely brilliant and something you very rarely see. RID Prowl's feet become the seats of the car, but this is on a whole other scale. And the greatest thing about it is there's no problems with weight balance, functionality, or any impediments like that. It just works. Yeah, okay, you end up with a cavity behind the leg, but you still get knee and feet articulation, which is crazy. That cavity, in fact, allows you to have a deep knee bend, which I'll show you in the articulation section. It blows my mind what we can do with modern Transformer engineering. There's toys with bigger gaps behind the legs, and they are nowhere near as complex. Now, one small QC issue that concerns me is what's going on with the plastic on the hinges that connect the roll bars. Some building wear and tear on the plastic, or was it improperly painted to begin with? I'm not sure. I wish I noticed it earlier so I could see how playing with the figure affects it, but it concerns me. I hope the plastic doesn't give out one day. But anyways, Hound ain't coming to the fight empty-handed and comes packing some serious firepower. He has 3 pieces of equipment at his disposal. First is his RT-10 IR electroscope launcher, which I like to exclusively keep on his shoulder like in the G1 cartoon. I'm reading these names off the TF wiki, by the way. No way in hell I'm remembering all these names. Then we have the W5 Hollow Beam Refraction Blaster and an ammo clip as a separate piece that you can combine to give you some sort of Cybertronian machine gun. The best thing though is combining all three pieces together, and this cheek slapper of a gun has a name, the HD Vector Beam Mega Blaster. Ooh, my tongue feels spicy after saying that. This thing feels like when the Power Rangers combine all their weapons together, and you better get the hell out of the way because this blast is gonna hurt. Now when it comes to mounting the weapons or blast effects, if you have them, you have a lot of options other than Hound's hands. 2 portholes on the top, 2 on the sides of his shoulders, 2 on the forearms, 2 on the legs, but those are really used for alt mode, and for what it's worth, 2 on the bottom of the feet, also meant for alt mode. I bet some of you out there will find a clever use for them in robot mode, maybe with some nice blast effects. 1 porthole is right on the backpack for the weapon holstering, and the ammo clip can also be separately stored on the back as well. He is just versatile as hell. Seasoned, definitely seasoned. Hound does his toy line superiors proud on this articulation frontline. Head goes 360 degrees with ever so slight head nod, although you do need to pull the flap behind his head back though. Shoulders extend 90 degrees out, have 360 degrees rotation, and actually hinge backwards 45 degrees due to transformation joints. 360 bicep swivel, 90 degree elbows, and 360 wrist rotation. Hound does it all very nicely. It's just unfortunate that he can't hold the 2 pegs of the Mega Blaster with 2 hands in front of him because of the chest being so large. You can pull it off over his head and you can get a nice COD drop shot pose with him, but you won't do it in front of him. You have a 360 waist rotation, legs are on hinged mushroom pegs that allow the legs to go 90 degrees outwards, 90 degrees forwards, and 90 degrees back, practically unimpeded. You also have 45 degrees of thigh swivel, which turns to 360 degrees once you fully extend the legs outwards. Knees bend past 90 degrees, which is a surprise considering how they're made up, and ankles have 90 degrees inward tilt. The cavity that is a result of the legs folding together works in our favor as you get that deep knee bend, and you can do some fun stuff posing with him like that. For a toy that turns into a boxier vehicle like a Jeep, it has incredible articulation, and it's another example of the War for Cybertron toy line just showcasing the best of modern toy engineering. Transformation is also excellent provided you're privy to its tricks. We might as well talk about the way the legs work first because I've mentioned it so many times. You unclip from the inner leg and now you have both sides of the Jeep, which is still so cool. The rest of the transformation is pretty straightforward as you fold up the Jeep canopy, unhinge the Jeep front, and the arms tuck very nicely underneath the bottom of the chassis and tab right in. Now for the tricky part. The sides of the Jeep rotate at the knee and clip in, but if you have the sides fully formed already, you will have problems. Instead, keep the front light parts unhinged like this and then fold them. The only annoying part of the transformation is that you have the roll bars in the way and you have to tuck underneath them. The roll bars are a soft plastic and parts of it are pretty thin, so I worry about bending it permanently or worse. Other than that little hiccup, this transformation is simple to pull off and just fun in general. But if you successfully tab the last parts in and fold the feet down... Oh yes, Siege Hound in his alt mode looks amazing, especially with all this detailing and greebling on the sculpt. It makes this alt mode look bombastic and totally army surplus. This could be a toy in your G.I. Joe collection, although I think they've already made a crossover toy. I don't know G.I. Joe toys that well, but I just know this thing is looking army as hell. The Siege alt modes are supposed to be Cybertronian forms, and Hound has some aspects where I say okay, but in reality it's more of an Earth Jeep. They could have gone way more futuristic and out there with it, like give me a Warthog from Halo, except it's our buddy Hound. Hey look, a collab idea. You're welcome Hasbro, do it. This is still nice though, and they did change a bit of what his Earth mode would have been with the windshield and roll bars. I really dig this alt mode, and sometimes I'll leave Hound in alt mode depending on where I'm going to place him on the shelf. He has great shelf presence. Those rich, dark green colors really come out to play here too. Then you combine it with the accent colors of bronze on the hood and the yellows for the lights and the gunmetals and painted on black colors mixed in. Man, this paint job is immaculate for this more grittier version of Hound and perfect for this alt mode in particular. And again, the battle damage on the bumper doesn't bug me at all. It feels like it all belongs in the deco. Only real downside I have is that if you squint, you can see the arms pegged at the bottom from certain angles of the toy. Maybe during photography from the side, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb, but overall not that egregious and certainly not as bad as Trailbreaker, which we'll probably end up covering. The weapons in this mode mount right on top of the roll bars, and you can place both weapons with the ammo clips side by side to each other. The ammo clip gets its own spot near the back of the alt mode, clipping in there, or you can keep it on the blaster rifle if you want, or place them on those peg holes I mentioned earlier, which are on the sides of the Jeep. There's lots of good customization here, and the weapon storage for Hound is much more fitting than most of his other toys in the line. Last thing I'll say before we wrap this up is that there are so many repaints and retools of this toy, it's nutty. A few of them I think are really nice, like the Generation Selects Hotshot and the Data Clerk Orion packs. Both of these look absolutely stunning, and the mold really fits well for them with a bit of retooling. There's the Netflix version, which gives you an even more grimier and battle damaged look, although I do hear there's some major QC issues on the neck. And then there are the Earth mode retools, which change the Jeep's look quite a bit. Like for example, you have the 5-pack version in the Autobot Stand United 5-pack, which aims to give you a more G1 cartoon / movie deco. There's the Detritus retool if you want a more Sahara desert looking Jeep. Lots of options to fit your fancy, and with the 2026 Studio Series leaks, it looks like we'll get another one for Hound. To sum everything up, I think this Hound toy just does everything so incredibly that even the toy's low points and faults are not really that low or hindering. Maybe you can have a preference for an Earth mode look or G1 coloration or other things, but this figure does an amazing job skirting the line between its own identity and calling back. And most importantly, it's a fun toy, and in my opinion, a dark horse in the War for Cybertron Trilogy, which was packed with great toys. It's hard to be a dark horse in that toy line, I know. I'm giving this toy a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's very close to perfect. Very close, but I have a few small issues with the build quality that holds it back, particularly that soft plastic that's in the roll bars. But if I never collect another Hound for my collection again, I'll be completely fine. I love this toy that much, and it's so perfect at the deluxe scale. At this point, you need to reimagine the character in order for me to get interested in a new Hound toy for my collection. Maybe I might want an Earth mode one, but you have a great robot mode, great alt mode, lots of weapons to play with, an interesting transformation, and articulation for posing is excellent. It's a total package and near perfect at its scale. I'm awarding this Hound the highest honors. You should be proud, soldier. At ease. There's another one down, still lots of Transformers to cover until all are done. Now, if I did this correctly, none of the Autobots I have left to cover from More Than Meets the Eye Part 1 actually have speaking roles until later G1 episodes. That's funny, they introduced so many characters in that episode that they couldn't get everyone at least a burp, fart, or grunt? Well, I guess so. Gotta sell toys. Anyways, if you liked the episode, let me know with a like or a comment. Let me know if you're out there, and thanks for spending some of your important time here watching the JR Magnus channel, and peace out.